Hello good people, welcome back to the channel to free your future. In this video, I'll let you in on how I saved $2,000 off my costs to attend college in 2022 by negotiating with my college's financial people, and you can too. Check it out in this video. So some people are good at negotiating, others are not. I used to think of myself as a pretty good negotiator until I actually tried it out for the first couple of times. It's really hard to, understand how the art of negotiating even works. But in this video, like I promised, I'll share with you how I did it in this particular case, and maybe you'll find some valuable lessons that you can apply to your own situation. So let's get into it. How did I do it? How did I negotiate $2,000 off my bottom line? Well, first off, I knew my goal. You always need to start with the end in mind. You need to know what you are negotiating toward. And for me, it was to reduce my monthly expenses and thus my yearly expenses to go to college, right? In this particular case, I was looking at how I could save money, like overall. I looked at my budgets in the past and I realized that housing and food were costing me the most. And those were two areas where I could really tighten down the budget and get more cash to allocate elsewhere. So I looked at my different options, which brings me to the next step in the negotiation process. You need to look at your options. I looked at the housing and I said, well, I already have a roommate. That takes down the cost of the dorm. But hey, what if I could live off campus? See, now there's an option that I pursued. During the summer, I stayed in the dorms because the university allows summer students to do that from time to time. I did that for a while, and then I moved off campus for the summer, which the university is still fine for. But then I thought, what if I could just continue my off-campus experience into the school year? I mean, why can't I? But it turns out that my university has a policy which said that you have to be 22 years of age or have the class standing of a senior or have some other extenuating circumstances which they'll approve on a case-by-case basis. And I didn't qualify for them. Didn't qualify for any of that. So I could stay off campus during the summer, but not during the school year. And so here's where a negotiation needed to happen. So I looked at those options, but I just, was always curious. How could I save more money? How could I pursue my goal? And then I created a plan to deal with any results that would happen from the negotiation, right? You always want to go into a negotiation thinking, all right, what's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? And what's kind of an in-between, What am I willing to give? What am I willing to walk away from? Okay, you need to be very clear on that, because the power in a negotiation is your ability to say, this is where I stand. If you can't measure up, I'm going to walk away. You're going to walk away. No deal. Because essentially, think about this, debt-free college kids. You are contributing the money, okay? Like, you're the main source of income for your university. They're trying to keep you, right? But in order for you to agree to attend that college, to pay the tuition, to pay the housing or the food, they need to adhere to their part of the deal too, right? They need to provide you services that you want. So anyway, these plans, plan A was that the university approves my off-campus experience and would then allow me to use my own discretion as far as housing costs, cheaper rent, and grocery foods, or eating out. I'd still eat out during the summer, right? I have a budget item for that, but see, that's the thing. I'll be working off of my budget as opposed to the university's budget. Plan B is that the university does not approve me for staying off campus because I'm under 22 and I don't meet any of the other criteria, but they will give me a discount, okay? So they'll be competitive. They'll say, hey, you're trying to save money. All right, we'll decrease your bottom line cost. And that's fine with me too, because I was clear on my goal. What's my goal? To reduce my monthly spending. So, and then plan C is like my or what. What would happen if the university I was going to played hardball and just wouldn't do anything that I'd offer? They're just say, no deal. Nope, our policies are the policies. They can't change. What would be my course of action? Well, I would just pause my scholarships and take a gap year. I've taken a gap year before, and I highly recommend it to anyone to always keep a gap year in their pocket, because it's a great opportunity to sharpen your skills, to get internships that already use the knowledge you've gained so far, whether you have just graduated from high school or if you are, somewhere in your progression through college. You have experience. Why not use it and get paid for it and save up money for the next year so you can cash flow that easier? There are so many benefits to a gap year, but that's all I'll say on that. That's my plan C. So plan A, B, and C, I had outlined, very clear on that. And then I found out what they wanted, okay? And I kind of alluded to this before, but basically any college wants money, okay? They want students, right? Because more students equals more tuition payments, which means that they can balance their books and the staff can get paid, right? So that's what the institution wants. And I am an asset that they want. I'm one more student that can make tuition payments, so then the financial people or whoever can get paid. Okay, so I know what they want. And then that brings us to clarify the details and test the different options. Contact the supervisors. Contact the people that have the authority to make decisions, whatever that looks like. Usually it's department heads. So for instance, if it were for financial assistance, I would contact the director or even the associate directors for student financial services and see what they had to say, see what solutions we could come up with. But in all of this communication, you want to make sure that you are doing it in a spirit of cooperation, okay? And to give you an example of what a spirit of cooperation looks like, let me read to you an email I sent to the Associate Director and Director of Student Financial Services at my university. I think it will help you as you possibly create your own emails that you send. But before we get to the email I sent, please like this video, and if you have any negotiating tips that worked for you, please let me know in the comments. And now, back to the email. So the email said, the subject was, I need your help. When can we meet? Okay, so again, cooperation. Hey, I need you. Let's work something out. So I wrote, hello so-and-so, Jeff McCormick here. I am in a tough spot financially, making it possible for me to afford university this year only if I am allowed to manage my finances more independently. This is especially true in regard to housing and food. I currently am living off campus on a personal budget, paying much less than the dorms would cost. I also am getting more food for less money than I would at the CAF. This current arrangement is sustainable for me financially, allowing me enough funds to pay for the tuition and fees the grants and scholarships won't cover. Now I just want to pause there and say that what I just did in the email, I just told them a brief overview of what's currently working, okay? So that's my tactic. I'm saying, all right, what I'm doing now is working. I don't want it to change. Okay? So, but I'm afraid of it changing. So work with me here, guys. Okay? I continue. I'm afraid of this changing, period. University Housing will review my application for an off-campus exemption in early September. If they approve it, I get to continue with university this year. If not, I will need to make the financially responsible decision and call this year off. I'd hate to cancel this coming school year, so I'm reaching out to see what we can do. Again, you can see the spirit of cooperation in this. It's saying, hey, I wouldn't like to cancel this year. You wouldn't like to cancel this year. Let's come to an agreement. Let's see what we can do. University Housing will see that I put down financial hardship as a reason they should approve my continuing to live off campus. Again, it's working. Like, all I need is for you to support me in continuing this. Okay? With no official meal plan. My understanding is that they will then check with Student Financial Services to verify the financial hardship. I'm perfectly fine with verifying a situation. That's a key, okay? Admit the places that you agree with them on, okay? Get some common ground. Student Financial Services sure likes verification. I like verification too. It ensures that the truth is told, that everyone is on the same page. I'll admit that. I'm perfectly fine with verifying a situation. However, I lack confidence that Student Financial Services has enough information to verify an accurate view of my financial picture. Okay, yeah, I lack confidence. I have serious doubts. Student Financial Services may report, okay, now I'm getting into a hypothetical here. Okay, if they do nothing, okay, Student Financial Services may report that I can afford the dorm and silver meal plan when I really can't. And I put that in bold in the email, okay? I really can't. Making university housing require me to stay in the dorms. Like I said before, I need to call this year off if this happens. Okay, so again, I'm referencing back to my values, like, hey, if I don't have the cash, I don't have the cash. I'll have to call off this year, take a gap year, unless you work with me here, okay? So, again, spirit of cooperation. And so then my call to action is just this. So now that you know a little more about my financial and housing situation, when can we meet to continue the conversation about this? A Teams meeting would probably be the best mode of meeting. I'd love to talk with either one of you or both. Sincerely, Jeff McCormick. So, there you go. I mean, it's just very open and honest, a spirit of cooperation. And again, you can sense that I'm not wanting to take out debt. I'm financially responsible, but I don't have to reference like, hey, you guys are making me take out loans. I reject that. I'm not going to take out loans for anything. No. That's like entitlement all the way. Instead, saying, hey, I believe that the responsible financial decision for my situation is this. So how can we both work with each other here so that both of us are happy? Okay? So now let's see. So then, after some time, Student Financial Service Director replied. And this brings me to the next negotiating tip. So after you send out that communication, like the email I just read to you, where you outline your situation and you just encourage the conversation of cooperative help, okay? Then wait for their offers. They will be sending you offers. Sometimes you need to ask for them like, hey, what can you do to help me? okay? But wait for their offers, look them over carefully, and then ask them to wait a few days for you to think about it. So the director replied to me in an email and said, "Hi, Jeff. Thanks for your email." Oh, before I say this, this email, I had a lot of mixed thoughts about this. I had a lot of mixed emotions. On the one hand, I was glad about it, and on the other hand, I was so frustrated. You'll see why in just a minute. So, "Hi Jeff, thanks for your email. I'm sorry not to grant your request for off-campus housing." She told me flat out, "I'm not going to approve your exemption." Bummer. University has already given you over $26,000 in institutional grants. That's a lot to help cover your expenses. And we have adequate rooms for you in Sittner Hall, the men's dorm. Now, notice, pause. Notice how she doesn't mention the cost of tuition. Notice that she doesn't mention the bottom line that I'll have to pay. She just throws out the number that the institution, the university, is helping me out with. Okay? It's not like it's $26K for like a $26K tuition. It could be a $100,000 tuition per year, and $26,000 would only be a fraction of it. You see the psychology of this? Like, she's trying to make me think, oh, hey, the university is really giving you a lot. But it means nothing, okay? So you gotta keep your head when you're negotiating like this, especially with colleges, okay? In this case, the $26,000 is just to make me feel like I'm already getting a lot of help and I should be grateful. Anyway, back onto the email. "I'm happy to award you a $2,000 pay it forward grant, which should more than cover the additional costs you feel living in the dorm and eating in the cafeteria would cost." Cost you feel? Come on, give me a break. My decision is not based on feelings. It's based on math. Either I have the money or I don't. I have the cash or I don't. It's not a matter of feelings. It's like, hey, my goal is to cut my expenses month to month because it's not sustainable to have expenses run wild while my income is diminishing during the school year. It's like, no, either I can afford it or I can't. Not with loans. No. If you have to take out loans, you can't afford it. Okay? You have the money or you don't. So that's the thing. Like, it's not based on feelings. It's based on facts. Anyway, but I am glad that she's happy to award me $2,000 more, which would more than cover, she says. Actually, it was like $500 short when I ran the math out. Like, over the course of a year, it's $500 short. Anyway, but yeah. She said, "Take care. Hope you are having a good summer. Remember, God has great plans for you." And, you know, I believe that. God has great plans for me, great plans for you as well. But I find it kind of ironic how, you know, God has great plans for us, and yet these are the same people that are advertising student loans and indebtedness, like the legalized slavery in the US is student loan slavery. Like, God has great plans for you. Why are you hindering so many people from them? Anyway, that's my soapbox. God has great plans for you, which is why a debt-free education is super valuable and you should pursue it. At least that's why I'm pursuing it. Anyway, so after you carefully read their offer, okay, then you respond with an email saying, "Hey, give me some time to think about it. And this is what I did. I took what she said about the $26,000 and I said, okay, I'm going to make sure that she recognizes that I recognize what the university is doing. You never want to come across as entitled, right? And so nothing like gratitude helps you show that. And so I said, thank you so much for the $26,000. The university has already contributed to my education, but still, I'm going to need to, I still need to cut expenses somehow, or my bottom line needs to be reduced, okay? And I said, give me some time to think about your offer. And then I clarified it in my email. I said, let me think about your offer of $2,000 more in grants for a total of $28,000 in institutional aid, okay? And let me get back to you 3 days later, and I put the exact date, okay? Now she feels like, okay, this guy can be depended on. Yes, he clarified exactly what I meant. I agree with that. And I'll wait for his reply on this day. And then you gotta reply on time, okay? There's nothing like being late and throwing off a commitment to jeopardize your negotiation. Seriously. Then you follow up and seal the deal. Like I said before, replied sent on time, specific, clearly affirmative. I took her up. I ran the numbers and I said, okay, if I stay off campus, it's going to be around, okay, like $650 a month. Okay, if I stay on campus with the $2,000 grant, it's going to be comparable. Now, at the end of the year, it's going to be $500 more that I pay, but I'm willing to do that because she said that she would not approve my exemption. So it's either plans B or C, because plan A was already out, okay? She said, I will not approve your plan A. That's what she said. Plan B, okay, she gave me a discount. She gave me $2,000 more, $2,000 discount. So it's B or C. I'm going with B. So I said yes. Yes. So anyway, then she awarded me that $2,000, and now I'm able to cash flow this next year within my budget with lower expenses, and I achieved my goal. So that's how I negotiated $2,000 off my college cost in 2022. I hope that you got something that you can implement in whatever negotiation you have next coming your way. In the meantime, I wish you the best in becoming a debt-free college kid. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and share it with a friend who you think would benefit from this information. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and remember, you have what it takes to free your future and your finances.